So I'm going to show you how you can create images for both Facebook, LinkedIn, your Instagram story, and also TikTok. Let's have a quick sneak peek at what we're doing right here. So we've got the vertical image, typical, I love this Gary V, Alex Hormozy style quote. And then we've got just your square image, which is, better for Facebook and LinkedIn. So I'm just going to dive straight into it. So we go into make.com and we set up a new scenario. The first thing we're going to want to connect is a Google Doc. Within the Google Doc, we're going to keep access to all of the captions that we want to overlay on our social media image. So I'm just going to show you mine. All I did was just steal some of Alex Hormozy's favorite ones because I am a big fanboy of Alex Hormozy. I'm definitely not afraid to admit it. Bit of a man crush on him. But if you've got a list of captions that you want to use, this is the place to dump them in. I would keep this to maybe 5 for now, just to make sure that the automation works correctly and you're not burning through any of the free trial credits that you're going to access to produce this automation. That was a mouthful. However, if you are short on inspiration and if you do not have a document prepared, like me, for a social media caption automation generator on this fine Saturday, then jump into ChatGPT. Give you some inspiration. I just grabbed 10 to 20 Naval tweets. Naval is just famous for these kind of one-line bangers. And I can just copy and paste these and put it in my Google Doc. So if you are short on inspiration, ChatGPT 01, 10 to 20 examples, bring them back into your Google Doc. So now back in Make, we're going to want to grab the content of the document. So you have to connect your Google Documents to Make. It should take you literally 5 seconds to do. I'm not going to show you how to do that. And then the get content of a document, we're going to do that by mapping, and we're going to grab the document ID. So if you're unfamiliar with what the document ID is, I've just grabbed the URL. It's this big, ugly string of text right here. Copy that, go into Make, and then I'm going to hit Save. So what we do, always just test it. So what we can see here, if you hit the text content section here, it should drop down with all of the text, and it does. Et voila. So I'm just going to get rid of the URL so it doesn't pull this through, and that would be an ugly social media image. So now, okay, so the Google Doc is working. The next thing we're going to want to do is basically split the text into a line-by-line item, because right now everything is bundled into one document, which is less than useless to create social media images with. So the next thing we're going to want to do is add something called an iteration. If I could spell that correctly, that would be awesome. So we've got an iterator here, and it says array, which might seem scary, but don't worry about it. All we're going to do now is tell this module to split the text from the Google Doc into a line-by-line item. So this little A button here, I'll zoom in just for folks like me who have weak eyes. Hit that, and then we're going to hit if I zoom in again, hit this split function here. So I'm just going to hit split. Then what we're going to do is grab the value out of this Google Doc, which is the text content, right? So I'm just going to grab this, and we're going to put it before the semicolon. The next thing we're going to want to do is give it some instructions about how it should split the line. So we go to back to the little A. We're going to do carriage return, and then we're going to do new line. Hit save, and again, as always, if it has this little yellow warning, don't worry, just run it again. Now, what we should see is the text has been bundled into individual separate data stores. So everything is now kept in its own line. It is no longer a big document full of text, which is exactly what we want it to do. The next thing we're going to want to do is connect it to an app called Placid app. Now, Placid app is a paid subscription, but you have a free trial, which is more than enough for you to test this automation. If you like it, I think it's like $19 a month, and you get 500 credits a month, so you can produce a serious amount of images. So I'm just going to hit here, next, Placid, and we're going to want to create an image. Now, I'm just going to jump into Placid actually and just show you this very quickly. So this is what the dashboard looks like. So I'm on the $19 a month, which is the basic plan. I've got 500 credits. We're going to go into projects, and I've got 2 project templates created. Now, you can create whichever templates that you want, but for the purpose of the video, I'm going to use the carousel quote and also the vertical project. Now, within here, you've got on the right-hand side here, we've got all of these layers, right? And these are the editable fields that we can pull through into make.com to change out the image, the text, the shape background, whatever you want. And we're going to obviously change this text here. So what we want to do is reference that in the make.com automation so that we can just keep swapping that out for whatever we like. So template, I want to use the carousel quote, We can get rid of all of this. Like I just said, these are all the empty layers. We don't need any of this stuff. So we get rid of this. And the text we're going to want to grab through is from the previous iteration module where everything now sits. So we've got the iteration module and we want to grab the value. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pass all of that data into Placid to create the image. The image is then determined by the project template. It sounds super complicated, but it's not. Basically, this is going Google Doc, split the Google Doc content, bring the Google Doc content into Placid to create the image. The next thing we're going to want to do is download the image URL. So we can then save it as a file and convert this into a format that we can use on our social media. So we're going to add a HTTP request and we're going to get the file. So the URL is going to be, so once you click in the box, it will give you some options from the previous Placid app module. That's an incredibly difficult thing to say. I don't know why. Image URL, grab that in here. So now this is going to grab the image URL from Placid app. I'm going to hit save. The next thing you're going to want to do is close this loop. So basically this is going for an iteration. We want to make sure that loop doesn't continue to happen forever. So we're going to add another module and we're going to hit an array aggregator. The source module is where the iteration starts. So when we started to split that text up, if you cast your mind back, but 3 modules, it's the iterator 9. It might be labeled different to you, but it's the first iterator module within your workflow. So we're going to hit that. And then we're going to just, from the HTTP module, we're going to hit data, save, and away we go. So that little yellow icon is going to pop up because it's basically saying you shouldn't end the workflow on this module, but we're not. Don't worry about it, mate. We're going to move on. Don't you worry about that. The next thing we're going to want to do is connect to something called PDF Co. PDF Co is a paid for service, but you are given a whole bunch of credits with your trial. So I just want to jump into PDF now. So this is a free trial account. As you can see, they've given me 10,000 credits. And also on the homepage, which is super useful, I've got my API key. Now the API key is how you connect to make.com. So copy this, go back into Make, and log everything in. So your credentials are now there. What we're going to do is then convert an image into a PDF. So we're going to hit that button there. Your connection should now be there. If it's not, I can't help you. We're going to upload files, and the file we want to add, what am I doing here? We hit the map button. See, look, I lost my train of thought. We hit map. We're going to go into here and we're going to grab everything out of the array module. Bada boom. The next thing we're going to want to do is name this. Would you get out of my face? The next thing we're going to want to do is name this. So I'm just going to call this Durrani.pdf. We're going to download the file. That's awesome. The next thing you're going to want to do is change this to sync. That just means it's not going to happen all at the same time. It's going to happen one by one. Now we hit the very near final step. We're going to connect Google Drive, and I made this mistake earlier, don't be like me, we're going to upload the file. So make sure when you hit the Google Drive module, you are not copying a file or trying to access anything other than upload a file. If you do, you're going to spend 5 minutes, maybe it's just me, looking for something that doesn't actually exist. So we're going to hit upload file, connect your credentials, and then we're going to find the folder ID manually. So again, I'm just going to jump into the folder here. So this is where we're going to be accessing the file, and I'll show you how to grab the folder ID. So again, it's this ugly bit of text at the end. Jump into the make and folder ID, and there we have it. So it's already pre-selected this, this is the file we're uploading. So I'm just going to hit save. We've got some warnings here, not sure why. What we're saying, values must not be empty, but nothing has been pulled through yet. So let's have a quick look. Durrani files, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so these warnings are only because, we jump back in, it's only because the workflow hasn't yet been run. So I'm just going to hit save, and I'm just going to save my file. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this bad boy. We're going to run this puppy and see what happens. So let's just see. Fingers crossed, we're going to run it. Okay, so it's created image number 1. We're looking good. Image number 2, the suspense is building. Oh boy. Number 3, it's looking positive. Holy, we made it to number 4. Can we make it to number 5? Boys and girls, we are onto something special here. It's now moved on to the PDF creation. So it's now going to grab all of those 5 images that we generated and convert them into a PDF. And now we're uploading to Google Drive. And just like that, if I jump into my Google Drive folder, here we have it. It's the new file. There you go. So you've got 5 images populated just like that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is create this vertical PDF. So we want obviously we don't just want the square because square is boring. We want the vertical images as well. So if we jump back into the Placid app, and all you're going to want to do is duplicate your original template. So if you can just drag this little drop item here, press duplicate, and then change the file settings, edit. In the top left-hand corner, we've got the 1080 by 1920. It might be locked by default. Make sure you unlock it so you can do the different heights and ratio. Then move your images and text around so it's in the center. Go back into Make. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Ryan, how do I run 2 different workflows at the same time? I'm so glad you asked. So where this little wrench is right here, if you right click, you can do add a router. Look at that. And then all you're going to do is just basically copy the workflow above, but you've just got to change some things. So I'm just going to hit clone. Okay, so now everything is connected, but you can see there's a whole bunch of yellow warnings. It's because it's referencing data from different sources. So I'm just going to click into here. We want to change this to the vertical project. So obviously you've set up a new project now. So we're going to reference that instead of the carousel quote. We're going to hit vertical. And the value is now different because it's coming from a router. So we're going to click this, get rid of the old one. And you can see here the new value is in green. So we're going to save that bad boy. Go to the HTTP request. It's still pulling from the previous image, which it no longer has access to because we've got that sexy little router. Image URL, save, awesome. The array aggregator is the iterator 16. So this is at the tail end of this, the start of this new rooted workflow. So we're going to hit that, hit data, hit save, jump back in, make sure it's saved. It did this earlier, so I'm just going to hit save again. Sometimes, for whatever reason, I get that, and then iterator, and then select all, and then save it, and then hit data, save again. Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't save the data initially. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on and fill the rest of the data in, and then hopefully when we go back, it should be fine to change over. So up input files, this is from the array, so we're going to change that. You want to change, obviously, the name, so we're going to call this vertical, let's put it like that, vertical Durrani. Make sure everything syncs, export type, download a file, and then we're going to grab the file name. Actually, we don't need that. Let's just do that. So we can just select the map. So if I hit save now, before I run it, and then jump back into this little naughty module, save, hit data, save again. Still not grabbing it through. Interesting. Select all, data, save. There we go. So it's saved. So you have to do a little bit fiddly. I'm glad I got to kind of debug that with you on the screen. As much fun as that was for me. It might look a little bit ugly. Don't worry about that. There's a little button at the bottom here where it says auto align. If I hit that, watch this. Wow, like magic. Okay, so now we have at the top here, we have our original workflow. And now we have the rooted vertical version for TikTok and Instagram stories. So we're just going to hit run. I'm losing my mind over here. Okay, so now both workflows have run. So we've done the original workflow with the square, and now we've got the second workflow running with the vertical image. Let's go back into our Google Drive folder. We've got Durrani. Let's have a look. And here's the vertical Durrani. There we go. So there we go. There you have it. You have 2 workflows, and you can control the size of the image, the color of the image, the picture. You can do anything that you want. You can basically replicate your project templates in Placid app as many times as you like, and you can run as many text overlays as you want through it. Now, obviously, the credit system is going to burn through it if you do thousands of images per month, but if you're doing 30 to 50 images throughout the month, this is the perfect workflow for you. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been a lot of fun. You can download the Make resource in the post description. Any feedback, thoughts, criticisms, compliments, I'll take them all, and I will see you boys and girls in the next one.